Yes. Service start speaking. Okay. Hello everybody. Today we are going to have a code walkthrough for how to make location aware application, or how we can use the location based services in our Android application. Right. So now going to this. What are location based services? A location based service is an information or entertainment service accessible with mobile device through the mobile network and utilizing the ability to make use of the geographic position of the mobile device. A mobile device with accurate location awareness is very powerful. Combining location awareness with network data access is world changing, and this is where Android shines. Android isn't the only platform to support this capability, of course, but it's easy to work with Location API framework, and open source nature does distinguish it somewhat. Now we know, as from direct network queries to triangulation with cell tower and even the global positioning system, an Android-powered device has access to several different location provider instances that it can utilize to access location data. Now we will move forward regarding the Android classes, and I understand that basically the audience is aware about the Android and how to install the Android, and which API version should be used for using the LBS or location-based service applications. Now moving ahead. So these are the various examples where location-based services can be used. You can see there, like if you are making a property-based application and you are integrating the feature of nearby properties, then it can make the application more interestingly. So if you are having a feature of nearby properties, somebody is sitting here can search for the properties in that locality, even though he don't know what the name of that locality is. Similarly, you can search for the nearby companies and chart their job sections, and you can use the LBS for integrating the social networking thing. Like if you are in a mall, see for example, and your friend is also in the mall, but you don't know that your friend is in the same mall. So if both are using a common application which is having the location-based service feature, then by following some mechanism, both can be aware that somebody is checking in this location, like we are seeing in Foursquare app, and now in Facebook application also. Location-based advertisement. Location-based advertisement, like if you are, see for example, moving to Connaught Place, then you can get the local advertisement of the Connaught Place. So that would be helpful for you if you are searching for some shops, or you are searching any other service in that particular area, and you are getting the ad also of that particular area, then this kind of thing would be very helpful to you. Similarly, in location-based event, if you are moving nearby a hotel and some events occurring there, then you can get message or notification from that hotel based on because of your location, that if you are nearby that hotel. Next thing is like tourism guides. Tourists don't know basically most oftenly that in which locality they are, but they are curious to know about that locality, about the history of that locality, if that locality is of historic importance. So if your application is having this feature, then tourists can easily get to know about the things like the information. And next example is like car parking guide. You parked your car somewhere, and then you forget that in which area you have parked your car. So by this way, you can tag the location of your car in your application, and you are far from the car, but in this way, from your car's location to your current location, you can draw a path. Your application can show you that how to reach to your car. Similarly, in baby tracker also, if your baby or your kid is having a mobile application which is having the LBS feature, then you can get to know that where your kid is, and you need not to worry that your kid is where, at what location. And if you like same way, you can do the other things also. Similarly, the attendance system. Attendance system is like if the employees are having the location-based service enabled application, so their attendance can be automatically marked by using the LBS feature. If the employee is entering into the location of the company, that means the application which employee is using would be having the same lat long or the around near about the lat long of the company. That means employee can then tag that he is currently there in the organization, or system can automatically track the location of the employee, that whether he is in the premises of the company or not. So these were the examples of the location-based services. Now this is the flow diagram. See how the things works, how the application work. When application starts, it listens for GPS and network updates. See, we can get the GPS, we can get the device location by two manners that I will explain later also. First is using the GPS, and second is by using the network updates. So if we have got the device location by using the network updates, then device automatically stores or caches that location within it. Then application checks that whether the cached network location is available. If yes, then it takes that, or if the cached GPS location is too old, then the application dismisses that GPS location and new cell ID being fixed is received. Based on that new cell ID, the application again start for obtaining the location. That means a Wi-Fi based location is obtained. Then the application check in this point, the application check that new Wi-Fi location is either new Wi-Fi based location is dismissed due to larger error estimate. Then a GPS location replaces current best estimate. After getting the best location, application stops listening for updates. Then best estimate of the location is used in the application. That lat or long or other things as required can be used in the app after following the following given things. So now coming to the location-based services. The location-based API includes two packages, Android.location and com.google.android.maps, that provide an initial look at the support in the Android platform for building location-based services. मैं थोड़ा टाइम के लिए ले रहा था, 50 मिनट काटे हैं। अच्छा अच्छा ठीक है। हाँ Now we are there on the API package of the location-based services. The location-based API includes two packages, as we are seeing here, Android.location and com.google.android.maps, that provide an initial look at the support in the Android platform for building location-based services. Now we will be going inside that Android.location. This API is having the following interfaces and classes that we are going to use. The interface is location listener, and the classes are address, criteria, geocoder, location, location manager, and location provider. So, what is location manager? The location manager class is used to get the last known or query the last known location. You need to get the manager from the system service. We will show this in an example. When building locations-aware application on the Android platform, there are several key classes that we will use. Besides this, we will use the location provider along with the location manager. Now, so what the use of location listener class? Location listener interface provides you the way to check the provider is enabled or provider is disabled, or your location is changed or not changed. So whenever your provider is enabled, you can do certain things. Like if you want to request for the location updates, then you can put this query in the provider enabled to save the battery and the applications consuming power. Now, so location provider. Location provider is an abstract class that help define the capabilities of a given provider. Different provider implementation, which are simply responsible for returning the location information. So what are the different providers and why the multiple provider necessary? Well, those are really context sensitive questions, meaning the answer is it depends. What provider implementation are available depends on the hardware's capability of the device. Does it have a GPS receiver, for example? It also depends on the situation. Even if the device has a GPS receiver, can it currently receive the data from the satellites? See, this thing happens somewhere like where I'm sitting currently. It's easy for me to get the data from network provider than from the satellite provider. This time, because here we are not getting the better satellite signals. But if I go outside on the road, then I can get the better satellite signal. Then I can get the accurate position also, accurate device position. So at runtime, we would need to query for the list of providers available and then use the most suitable one. If your first choice is network-based provider, usually we make the first choice as a network-based provider. The reason is that network-based providers are more frequent or more provide the device data, provide the GPS location in much faster manner than the GPS based provider. So then we are moving ahead then. This is the thing, location manager class, that as we have discussed earlier also. This location manager class provides an API to determine location and bearing if the underlying device supports it. The application will be able to do the three things. Point number one, query for the list of all location providers known to the location manager for its last known location. So this point, that query for the list of all location provider. All location provider are like network based provider and GPS based providers. Next point, register unregister for periodic updates of current location from a location provider. It means device or your app will register for periodic update of current location. That method use the timestamp in the long format. So if you provide the lesser value, your application will call the request for the location in a faster manner and will consume the more battery. So in order to consume less battery, we provide the more time interval. So this point relate with consuming the battery and getting your frequent location. Register unregister for a given intent. This is the point number 3. Register unregister for a given intent to be fired if the device comes within a given proximity specified by radius in meter or of a given lat long. This means that to fire an intent, I hope you all are aware about the intents. So register or unregister for a given intent. It means your application will fire an intent when it comes in proximity with a given lat long. That means it comes near to that lat long. So these are the three things that are provided by the location manager class. These are the references. Now I would like to move towards the code, how we are implementing these things in the code. This is the example app. This app, we would be showing this on the real device. This app name is example app. This is extending an activity. Here we are importing the packages location listener class, location manager class, and this example app is extending an activity. So it's overriding the onCreate method. You can see it here. This one. In the onCreate method, we are calling the set content view, the main file, the main layout file, and initializing the text views. The text view would be used to show the correct latitude and correct longitude. And after this, we are calling the get location method. Now going to the get location method. This get location method has a parameter as a context. Now, this is the location listener. First, we are initializing a location listener. There, location listener equals to new location listener, and we are implementing the default method of the location listener: provider enabled, provider disabled, on status changed, and on location changed. As discussed previously, the on location changed and on provider disabled, enabled, and on status changed would be called accordingly. I mean, you can define your on logic there. On location changed, I have initialized or called the location.get latitude method, location.get longitude method to get the current latitude and longitude there. That would be called on the changing of the location of a device from one location to another location. Then we are calling the, after this we are coming to location manager class. Location manager class is initialized here by calling the context.get system service, context.location service. Then we have initialized the provider. After this, we are coming to here to check that if location manager dot is provider enabled, location manager dot network provider, then provider equals to location manager dot network provider. See, we are giving the priority to the network provider here rather than giving priority to the GPS provider, because of the reason that GPS provider consumes more battery and gives the result slowly, but network providers gives result in the better manner and consumes less battery. So if I got the network provider, then I will not go in the else case. But if I am using the app on Wi-Fi where network provider is not available, or I am somewhere where Wi-Fi is available but I am not getting better signal, then app will go in this section. Here it will check that if provider is enabled, GPS provider, location manager.gps provider, then provider would be location manager dot GPS provider, or else the provider would be, the user would be invoked to call the or to switch on its GPS. Sometimes what happens that your GPS is off. Then to handle that situation, we have called here the show GPS disable alert to user method. What will happen in this method? It will show you the alert that GPS is disabled in your device by using the alert dialog class. And if you will press the yes, that go to settings page to enable the GPS, then it will call an intent of the call GPS settings intent. You can see it here with the parameters android.provider.settings.xn location source setting. That will open the settings activity here. So then after that you can switch on your GPS and then return back to the application. After that, after getting the provider, the location manager will again start requesting for location updates by passing the name of provider, either it is network based or GPS based, time duration, and the distance, and location listener. That location listener we have initialized earlier. After that, we would call the instance of the location class. Location we will get by calling the get last known location method from the location manager class by passing the parameter of provider into this. So now we have got the location class here, the instance of location class. Next we will check that if location is not equals to null to handle the exception. If location is not null, then we'll get the current latitude by calling the location.getLatitude method, current longitude by calling the location.getLongitude method, and then after getting the latitude and longitude, we are setting the values of latitude and longitude in the corresponding text views. Let text view dot set text, lng text view dot set text here. Then we are handling the exception here by showing the toast to the user that GPS is not available this time. So when the application can come in this case, if you are sitting or you are using this app in that particular area where the GPS signals are weak, also the network provider is not available, then the application will come in this case that GPS is not available, and you can show alternative alert to the user also. So now what we have learned here, that initially we have defined an activity, we have called the override the onCreate method here, then we have called the getLocation method here. Within the getLocation method, we have called the location listeners instance. Within the location listener, we have shown the methods to get the current latitude and current longitude on location changed. Then we have called the location manager by calling the location manager context.getSystemService. Then we have checked for the providers. After getting the providers, we have called the location.request location updates there, and after that we have got the object of the location class from the location manager that we have used for getting the latitude and longitude, and then showing that latitude and longitude onto the device. Now let me show this thing on the device. We can show you the screenshot of the device. Now we are recording this. Refresh. After loading, it has got the latitude and longitude. So now we have got the latitude and longitude. Now we have got successful in getting the current locations, latitude and longitude. Now how we can use these things in our application and how we have used these things in our MagicBricks Android application. Let me show you first by screenshots, then I'll show you the code. How the things happen, that first the person would be there on the dashboard screen. From the dashboard screen, the person will press the nearby properties section. It will show an alert to select the property type and the transaction type. User has selected buy and all residential and then the pressed OK. After that, application traced the user's current location and then send it to the server, and this loading would become on the screen. After that, these results would appear on your depending upon your query. Now let me show you the code, how we have done the things. First I was there on the dashboard, so this is the dashboard. After that, we was called the pop-up. We have called the pop-up there. Then we have the OK button. On the OK button, what is happening, that after setting the data, other kind of data, I have called the get location method here. In the get location method, again I am calling the same things and setting the data, and finally I have set the data here, and then I am calling the another activity. So these things happens. After that, I have performed the nearby search by making a query, and then I have displayed the dollar. So this is the thing, that how we have implemented the nearby property section within our app. So it's all from my side. I would like to have your questions, please.